Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the dashcam tour of Southern Utah with Steve Holm. So today I'm going to show you the Cedar City Airport. We're going to take a right hand corner here. You can see that is the sign. This comes off of Airport Road, which is parallel with I-15, only a half a mile off the road. So this airport sits west of the main freeway through town, and I'll show you in this video all the way out to the sci-fi movie place that is called Outpost X. It's out in the desert. It'll set us about just real quick, if we go straight ahead, that is the gate 1 private hangar for when you're flying private out of Cedar City, Utah. These are all hangars on the right hand side, and then we'll go past the main terminal, the CDC airport. Sorry, I got hung up there on traffic, but the Outpost X is 56 miles or minutes away, so it's 50 miles away from CDC, which is the Cedar City, Utah airport. 50 miles west with a little bit of north. On the right hand side here is this CDC airport. That's the commercial flights if you're flying in. The parking, as of the time of the recording, the parking is free here. That makes it easier to pay a little extra money for a flight when you're flying out of there here. On the left hand side is a bunch more industrial buildings, and you'll see it if you go check out some of my other videos that I've done. I'll show you kind of the different businesses and buildings around town on the right hand and on the left hand side. So now we're heading south. This is Aviation Way, and it ties into Highway 56. On the right hand, if you turn right, it goes Highway 56. If you turn left, it goes 200 north into Cedar City. And if you continue straight through this stop light, then you will go up Cross Hollow Road, which is where the Cross Hollow Arena is, the Diamond Z Arena. It's the rodeo grounds in Cedar City. It is not Iron County Fairgrounds. It is just the Cedar City rodeo grounds. On the right hand side is that D&D variety store where you can get groceries and a few varieties. We're coming up on Highway 56. There is a train track right here. This is just a little bit north of Highway 56, and there's one just a little bit south at this intersection. We take a right hand turn. Now we're heading straight west, and Outpost X is just another 53 minutes. We'll go on this road for about 33 miles, and then we take a right hand turn. That's Westview and Lund Highway with the equipment store on the right hand side. Again, if you guys have any specific requests of what you want to look at, I can do another tour. Just put it in the comments and I can do another tour of a different part of town. This is a bunch of farm. On the right hand side there is plans for some more commercial businesses going in. Right here you see a lot more residential. You can see there's a rail. It's a little bit hard to see, but you can see the rail paralleling this road. This is the Cedar City, Utah spur. The railroad is one of the main things that brought the town, the industry. So it's one of the original sources of transportation to town. On the left hand side is what's called Iron West. It's a subdivision. It's being built out right now. The right hand side is another commercial building. We're approaching Iron Springs Road. This is what we call the Y, because if you look at the map, it's shaped like a Y. Highway 56 heads off left and Iron Springs Road heads off right. They just recently put a new traffic light in and converted this intersection into a more organized traffic. It was quite a dangerous intersection a year ago. On the right hand side is the new gas station. It's called Rally Stop Market. It has the Sinclair gas pumps. This is the intersection, as you can see, the Iron Springs Road intersection. On both sides of the road, this is primarily commercial with some residential zoning. And then this is kind of just a long straight stretch of not much going on. There are a few commercial spaces for rent and for sale. And there are a few businesses that are actively operating out of the little, just gonna get you a better view of this. Those are different businesses running right now. Wichita Lake is on the left. It's the lowest part of the valley over on this side. And it will fill up. It's super shallow, but it gets big and then small as far as in the cross dimension, just because it's so shallow. It is known to have a smell to it, so that if you drive past, don't be surprised if it smells a little bit different than town. There are a ton of solar fields in Cedar Valley, so if you haven't seen solar panels commercialized a lot, then it may be a unique look. Sometimes from the right angle it looks like a big body of water or a lake, even though it's just solar panels. If you could go ahead and drop in the comments where you're traveling from, that would be awesome. That way either I can respond there or you can message me and we can answer a specific question about the town. This is Quichba Lake, and sometimes it will flood over the road. If it fills up enough, it will flood over top. And then the Conservancy actually has a water reclaim process. They clean that water and then drop it back down into the aquifer. There's not a lot going on out here, but you can actually see the view of Kolob Canyon. That's Kolob, and then Cedar Mountain. So it's kind of undeveloped part of town for sure. And then this is out west where you drop into the mountains. Outpost X is another 45 minutes away. So less than 1 hour away from the freeway, you're able to see the most unique and off-the-grid hotel and weekend Airbnb or whatever. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, but go check it out. It's on like 100 acres of dry desert unless it rains, and then it becomes a big puddle that sits for a long time, so it looks really neat. But you can get some of the most amazing experiences of being away from the city, and it's only 1 hour away from the main freeway. So if you're coming in from Las Vegas, you can either fly into the Cedar City Airport, or you can drive up I-15. It'll only take you 1 hour from the freeway to the campsite, and then whatever time you spend out there, and then an additional hour to get back to your track. So if you just give yourself 3 or 4 extra hours, you can visit the place even if you don't stay there. And then if you stay there, it's not very far off the road. It truly is one of a kind experience. There's no competition in that sci-fi movie vibe. It's like Star Wars. On the right hand side here, that's where we rock crawl sometimes. There's some pretty good rock crawling rocks for getting the rock crawlers out. If you turn left right here, it's Bumblebee Road. It will loop you down and tie into the Hamilton Fort exit. And the Hamilton Fort exit, if we turn left right there, is getting redone right now. They're going to have roundabouts and new overpass within the next year. We get out here to the more public lands. There's some there's a little rock right there you can climb up. There's a little parking spot. If you turn right, pull off the road, you can hike up to the top of that rock. It's kind of a neat little view of the valley. There are patches of residential throughout here. This is the bloodline for massive, oversized loads going from Salt Lake to Las Vegas, because the I-15 has a really tight spot that's called the Gorge. It's between Littlefield and St. George, and it's quite a process getting permitted loads down through that. So a lot of people opt to just take this highway. This shows the mountains. You can kind of see the bunch of residential on the right and the left hand side. We're halfway from Beryl Junction to Cedar City, Utah. On the Highway 56 right here. There is a bunch of different hikes and camping areas and all that up in this range of the public lands. You're able to look that up on any of the search engines, and you can kind of just look up hiking on the west side of Cedar City. It's over by Old Iron Town, straight ahead of us, and there is what's called Lion's Mouth Cave. It's on the left-hand side if you were to go straight over this mountain, but we're going to go around a little bit. This is the dip down in the road. You turn right to go to Comstock Road. That'll actually take you around the Iron Mine and back over to Iron Springs Road. Kind of does a loop. If you're heading to Lion's Mouth Cave, you can turn left here on the Pinto Road. This Pinto Road will actually tie you all the way over. It goes over to the Page Ranch House. If you turn left there, it also takes you all the way down and then ties you in at the New Harmony. It'll tie you right into New Harmony, Utah, which is just south of Cedar City. It can also tie you in over by Enterprise on the Highway 18. In front of us you can see the train cars. Those are abandoned train cars right there. Kind of seen the train track there. We continue heading west on Highway 56. We still have another 37 minutes to Outpost X, which is the campsite. It's the most unique, off-the-grid, quiet hotel I've ever heard of. We're actually about 10 minutes away from Newcastle. Newcastle is a small town in Utah, and there is another small town called Enterprise, on the Highway 18. You can take Highway 56 all the way to Beryl Junction and then turn left to go down Highway 18 to Enterprise, or you can just take a left right into Newcastle and go through town, and then there's a road that follows the base of the mountain over to over there to Enterprise. It's very gorgeous out here. There's no city lights. At this point right here, you can't see any city. Old Irontown is on the left up ahead, but it's down in a hole. So you actually have to turn left to go to Old Irontown. And it'll actually drop you down. If you turn right, it'll chase you up towards the mine. But right here, if you turn left, it'll take you to, there's the mailboxes. You turn left on that road, it'll take you right into Old Irontown down in the valley over there. You can't see any city from this point of view right here. We're about 3 to 5 minute drive each way to see a city light. Great place to watch the stars right here. Outpost X is a great place to watch stars because it's so off the grid. It's 15 minutes. In fact, I think it's about 16 miles off of the main road, coming out of a very small town. So that means there should not be many city lights either way out there, but you are able to see some of the city's lights from different angles. And that's definitely why they built the tent. Each of the campsites kind of have a perfect view of the small lake. It's a mud lake. It's kind of a vibe. Come in the springtime or the fall time, and it's perfect temperature. These feel like long straight roads for sure, especially if you're coming in from a big city. Here in southern Utah, this is considered a normal highway with no town. It kind of stretches between towns. A lot of the times you'll drive 10 to 15 minutes without seeing a city light, just because we're out in the country, out in the mountain range. I did another video on Duck Creek Village and Redhead, Utah, and both of those have kind of a drive. You drop out of service, you can't see town lights. It's just because we have such mountain ranges that get you down low enough to not see lights, and then it'll get you up high enough that you can see everything. So it's a really pretty drive either way. Again, guys, if you have any specific question about southern Utah, drop it in the comments or message me on Instagram or any other social media. It's pretty normal to pass one person every minute or two, just because there's such a long stretch and it's just low traffic. There's a roadway. If you turn left here, it can take you up a little bit. If you're planning on camping out here, make sure you find a designated camp spot. It's very popular to camp in southern Utah. You can turn right at this point, and it's Desert Mound Road. That'll actually take you, tie you over to Iron Springs Road, over by BZI Innovation Park. It's an industrial work park. At this point right here, you start to see the fields of Beryl Junction, and you can see the entire Beryl Valley. Beryl is kind of spelt a little bit crazy. It's B-Y-R-E-L. That way you can kind of see the fields. There's a few heat waves. That's the town, and this is a final downhill stretch into the valley, the Beryl Valley. Enterprise is on the left behind this mountain. Newcastle's on the left behind this mountain, and Beryl, the actual Beryl town, is on the right behind that mountain. And that's where the railroad, Union Pacific Railroad, runs out in Beryl. It actually doesn't come over to Highway 56 unless it's in Cedar City. You can see the town there. Then I'll zoom back out. I have family members from this town. It probably has a registered population of less than 100 people. Newcastle is the closest bigger town, like established town, to Cedar City on this road. There's the old Iron Town. It's just off the road a ways. Maybe a mile, 2 miles, maybe 3 miles. Where Newcastle actually has part of the town on each side. The Newcastle Reservoir is actually in this mountain right here. It's just up here on the left. It's only 10 minutes off the road. Newcastle Reservoir's less than an hour from Highway 50, or from Interstate 15. And then you can actually, at Beryl Junction, you can head on the 18 south. You can head south, go through Enterprise, and then it will take you down through Central, and through Vail, through Dameron Valley, down past Snow Canyon State Park, and then it'll take you through Ivins, Santa Clara, and then St. George. If you take this road for another 30 minutes, it'll take you to Panaca, Nevada. There's a junction there. We just barely entered Newcastle. This is a main gas station. It's one of the only convenience stores local, and this is a Newcastle on the left. We're gonna drive right through because we're heading to Outpost X, which is the off the grid. It's the most unique experience that I've ever seen in America. Partly because what you expect is certainly not what it is. in pretty much every way. On the left, this is some of the biggest dairies in Utah. This is called the Holt Dairy. On the left, it's between Newcastle and Beryl Junction, just north of Enterprise. We're still heading a little northwest on Highway 56, coming up on Beryl Junction soon. We're gonna take a right-hand turn, and I'll actually show you real quick. Outpost X, that's where Outpost X is, right there. It's between the highway and that mountain. Very flat area. It's flat for 40 miles each way probably. Outpost X is actually closer to Beryl, Utah than it is to Beryl Junction, even though the main way to access it is through Beryl Junction because of the roadway. If we continue on this road out, there's a town called Modena. It's in Utah. And that is where the railroad track crosses Highway 56 again. This is a lot of residential on the right-hand side and the left-hand side. We have the freshly replaced power poles. There's a trucking company on the left-hand side there, just a commercial shop. If you're flying in from Las Vegas to Cedar City Airport, this is the same route you will take. If you're driving from Las Vegas, it's only 2.5 hours away from this campsite. And you can either come up St. George through Dameron Valley and through Enterprise, or you can head north on I-15 all the way to Cedar City and then head out this way. Both ways are great. The road is nice either way. If you're flying in from out of country to come and visit the Star Wars scene in southern Utah, then you can actually land in Vegas. That's one of the biggest airports in the nation. And then you can drive for 2.5 hours. And then you stay whatever you need. If you are going to need to go shopping, I would advise that you go shopping in St. George or Cedar City, Utah before you head out here, because there's very limited shopping options. So if you turn left right here, it'll take you to St. George and Enterprise. If you go straight, it'll take you to Modena and Panaca, which is the Nevada junction. We're actually going to turn right onto Beryl Highway, and this is the Beryl junction right here, and then we'll head all the way out 8.8 miles from the intersection to the right hand turn over to Outpost X. So we have about 21 minutes left and we'll be there. I can show you the Star Wars thing. You're welcome to skip in the video if you don't want to watch the traveling or hear about the history. Then you can just skip in about another 8 minutes, and then that will be about where I turn. This is all farm. Again, this is a bunch of large pivots. They have hundreds of pivots out here in this valley. A lot of alfalfa. As technology progresses, it seems to get exponentially more affordable to grow crops in smaller spaces. This is a dairy. They have milk cows. Sometimes they have all kind of different types of livestock they have out here. That's a cornfield that we just passed on the left-hand side. There's a lot of corn and alfalfa out here. I spent a few years here in this valley. It's one of my stomping grounds. A lot of good memories with the cornfields, for sure. If you're watching this video and you don't know how to get to Outpost X, we're about 25% progress so far on just this road. So since I turned that corner, we have an additional about 3 times the length that we've been here. It looks like there's a big truck loaded with bales, compressed bales here. There's this yard on the left-hand side with the fences. And that's about 1/3 of this roadway. So we have an additional 5 or so minutes of driving. And then on the right-hand side is an old pit. It's a big hole. So when you're driving to Outpost X, it doesn't feel like the same experience as when you're at Outpost X. We're driving past a lot of properties that are private property, and they have a lot of stuff on the property. Fences, old vehicles, all that kind of stuff. You just have to continue driving through, drive past. You're driving parallel with a power line for a long time here. It truly is 20 miles in each direction for a mountain once you're at Outpost X. There's some orange mailboxes on the right-hand side. We're approaching the halfway point on this roadway, just so if you're driving, you kind of know where it's at. Again, there's more fields here. This is worldwide recognized and it's super popular. It's one of the most popular places to escape from reality in the nation. It sounds strange to say escape from reality, but if you actually experience the full Outpost X experience, it becomes a new reality. So we're at Half Point right here, and there's a big building on the right hand side, and then there's fields on the left hand side. So we'll continue down this road, but with how famous this Outpost X is, I think most of the fame comes from being worldwide recognized for Star Wars. It's not necessarily a unique piece of dirt outside of what you could build on the left hand side of us right here. There's a little white sand. There's a lot of places you could build this same thing in this valley. But the reason I think it's so successful is Travis Chambers is not just a good dude. He also is really good at marketing, and he made it a theme that matches an extremely popular video. So you're able to relate to it from wherever you're at. It's not like a culture thing that you have to get used to. If you have the Star Wars culture or sci-fi movies culture, it's just a great vibe, you know? You kind of get to just experience it. No worries in the world. There's a small community. If you turn left there, you can see some of the small community that way. We have about another 2 miles, and then we'll turn off this road. It's kind of gorgeous when you can drive past so many green fields and then arrive at the big mud lake. It's a world famous mud lake at Outpost X. It does get windy out here, and people just get used to it. Especially if you haven't experienced the windy desert a lot. Google Maps actually says Mud Lake, where the lake is at. This is where we take a right-hand turn. I want you to notice this real quick. This is the only symbol that tells you where this is at. It's boards that shape an X. And then it's 7200 north roadway. And the reason I mention that is it's hard to find unless you know what you're looking for. And also, is part of, it almost feels like you're out in the middle of nowhere when there's not a big billboard. I'm sure you could find a billboard, and I'm certainly sure that it's not strictly because of finances that they don't have one. I feel like it helps you get in that mode of, I'm out in the middle of nowhere. This is a little bit bumpy, so bear with me on the camera quality. We passed that private property on the left with that archway. There's a few more private properties out here with RV camp trailers. We see there's just more old leftover stuff. I just have a tripod in my truck and a self-driving truck, so the camera's not always the best quality here. If you're in your Jeep, it'll be fine. A car does fine. You may want to check the weather conditions if you're going to bring a car out here. As we get out here a little more, the maps does not always take you on the best trail. So at this point, you probably just want to watch for signs. There's a little X out here that kind of gives you a symbol that you can take a left-hand turn. There's a big bump right there. And a lot of this traffic is coming to visit this place just because it's so world famous. Some of this traffic is local traffic. Let me show you this real quick. I'll show you. Let me just pause for a minute. That is Outpost X from the outside. That's the entrance with the big aviation stuff, and those are the tents. And then we'll continue down the road here, turn left in a little bit. So as you come up right here, you'll start to see there is this little symbol. The maps actually, Google Maps actually tells me to go an additional mile and then turn left and then go another mile over and then come back a mile. This is the symbol you watch for it, because at this point is when you turn left. You see there's the X and then the arrow. So we'll turn left here. There's actually a right, like a full turn, but there's also a shortcut because a lot of people just cut the corner off. There's like it's almost like a second road. We'll continue down this road about a mile. It ties us straight into the gate. What do you guys think of these kind of videos? I know they're really long, but I'm trying to educate people on how it is to experience southern Utah. Not just quick little videos. I do a lot of short form videos on the shorts tab on my channel, and I also do Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And I know whenever you're watching this, it's probably not even on. Some of these social media accounts may not even exist. We come up right here to this jog, and that road is what it actually initially had me mapped to go over and back around and come back this way. So there is a roadway to shortcut there. But if you guys enjoy these kind of videos, if you drop a like button or the like, then it'll actually help the algorithm. And I'm not much into clickbait. As you know, my title is factual. I try to give as much information as I can. So if you like this stuff, then drop a comment. This is the archway. Welcome to Outpost X thing. And let me show you. You need to pause the video right here and look and read this. Part of the history. Pause the video and read it. And then this will show you. These are the campsites. And then there's this. Some more history. There's this thing right here. These are the more expensive stays right here. That's a lot better. It's actually like a finished house in there. It's really nice. So that's it. We're at Outpost X now. Go check out my other videos. You can see how it is in the Outpost X experience. Thank you so much for your interest in southern Utah, and I'll talk to you guys soon.